Article 430.52 current and its exception number 1 within the National Electrical Code, specifically regarding motor branch circuit protection, can indeed seem contradictory at first glance. However, there's a logical flow when you understand the intent and application of each part. Article 430.52 code mandates that the branch circuit protective device for a motor must have a rating that does not exceed the value calculated according to Table 430.52. So, if your calculation results in, say, 25 amps, the protective device protecting the motor's branch circuit should be rated at 25 amps or less. This is the primary rule, setting the upper limit for protection. Now consider exception number 1 to Article 430.52 COM. This exception addresses the practical reality that calculated values often don't perfectly align with standard available sizes of protective devices. It states that when the calculated value from Table 430.52 doesn't match a standard size or rating, you are permitted to use a higher size, but only up to the next high ampere rating. Going back to our example, if the calculation yields 25 amps, which isn't a standard fuse or circuit breaker size, the exception allows you to use a 30 amp device, as that's the next highest standard size. The key is that this exception doesn't give you carte blanche to choose any larger size. You're strictly limited to the next highest standard rating. Let's clarify with some examples. Suppose Table 430.52 dictates a maximum overcurrent protection size of 18 amps. Standard fuse and circuit breaker sizes near that value might be 15 amps, 20 amps, 25 amps, and so forth. Since 18 amps isn't a standard size, exception number 1 permits you to use the next higher standard size, which is 20 amps. You cannot jump to 25 amps, even if it seems like a comfortable margin. The code is specific about adhering to the next high rating. Another scenario is if your calculation results in exactly 20 amps. In this case, because 20 amps is a standard size, you can use a 20 amp protective device. The main rule in Article 430.52 code is satisfied because you're not exceeding the calculated value. You also have the option of using a smaller standard size, such as 15 amps, if you determine that it provides adequate protection without nuisance tripping, but this is typically not recommended unless you have specific information about the motor's actual operating characteristics that justify the smaller size. Now, consider a situation where the calculation yields 22 amps. Again, this isn't a standard size. Following exception number 1, you'd round up to the next standard size, which would typically be 25 amps. It's crucial to remember that these rules are designed to protect the motor and the circuit from overcurrent conditions, while also allowing the motor to start without tripping the protective device due to inrush current. Motors draw a significantly higher current during startup than during normal operation, and the overcurrent protection must be sized to accommodate this inrush without causing unnecessary interruptions. Table 430.52 provides the specific multipliers to apply to the motor's full load current to determine the maximum allowable overcurrent protection size. These multipliers vary depending on the type of protective device being used, such as inverse time circuit breakers, time delay fuses, or instantaneous trip breakers. The NEC defines standard ampere ratings for fuses and inverse time circuit breakers in Article 240.6a. These standard ratings are important because exception number 1 to Article 430.52 COM refers to standard sizes or ratings. Common standard ratings include 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 125, 150, 175, 200, 225, 250, 300, 350, 400, 450, 500, 600, 700, 800, 1000, 1200, 1600, 2000, 2500, 3000, 4000, 5000, and 6000 amps. When applying exception number 1, you must choose the next higher standard rating from this list. Let's look at how to apply Table 430.52 in conjunction with exception number 1. Suppose you have a motor with a full load current of 10 amps, and you are using an inverse time circuit breaker for branch circuit protection. According to Table 430.52, the maximum allowable rating for an inverse time circuit breaker is 250% of the motor's full load current. In this case, 250% of 10 amps is 25 amps. Since 25 amps is a standard size, you can use a 25 amp circuit breaker. However, if you were using a different type of protective device with a different multiplier in Table 430.52, the calculated value might not be a standard size, and you would then need to apply exception number 1. For example, if Table 430.52 specified a multiplier that resulted in a calculated value of 22 amps, you would round up to the next higher standard size of 25 amps. It's also important to consider other exceptions and related articles in Article 430. For instance, Article 430.52c3 provides rules for instantaneous trip circuit breakers, and Article 430.52d covers other types of protective devices. These sections may have their own specific rules and exceptions that need to be taken into account when sizing the branch circuit protection. Furthermore, you must also consider the conductor ampacity as specified in Article 430.22. The conductors supplying the motor must have an ampacity of not less than 125% of the motor's full load current. This ensures that the conductors are adequately sized to handle the motor's normal operating current, and it also provides some margin for overload conditions. The overcurrent protection is then sized to protect the conductors and the motor from excessive overloads and short circuits. To summarize, firstly, Article 430.52 current establishes the general rule that the branch circuit protective device must be rated at or below the value calculated from Table 430.52. Secondly, exception number 1 provides a limited allowance to use the next higher standard size when the calculated value doesn't match a standard rating. Thirdly, this exception is not a free pass to arbitrarily upsize the protective device. They are strictly limited to the next higher standard size. Fourthly, always refer to Table 430.52 for the correct multipliers based on the type of protective device being used. Fifthly, consider other exceptions and related articles in Article 430 that may affect the sizing of the branch circuit protection. Sixthly, ensure that the conductors are properly sized according to Article 430.22. By carefully following these steps and understanding the intent of Article 430.52 and its exceptions, you can correctly size the motor branch circuit protection and ensure compliance with the National Electrical Code. It's not a contradiction, but rather a carefully balanced approach to motor protection. It's also important to remember that local codes and regulations may have additional requirements or restrictions that go beyond the NEC. Always check with your local authority having jurisdiction to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. In addition to the NEC requirements, it's also good practice to consult with the motor manufacturer's specifications and recommendations for overcurrent protection. The manufacturer may have specific requirements or recommendations based on the motor's design and operating characteristics. They may also provide guidance on selecting the appropriate type of protective device and setting its trip characteristics. Understanding the motor's thermal overload protection is also crucial. Motors are typically equipped with thermal overload relays or devices that protect the motor from overheating due to prolonged overloads. These overload devices are designed to trip and to energize the motor if it exceeds its temperature rating. The overload protection is separate from the branch circuit overcurrent protection, and both are necessary to provide complete protection for the motor. The branch circuit overcurrent protection protects against short circuits and high-level overloads, while the thermal overload protection protects against lower-level, long-duration overloads that could damage the motor. When selecting the branch circuit overcurrent protection, it's important to coordinate it with the thermal overload protection to ensure that both devices work together to protect the motor. The overcurrent protection should be sized to allow the motor to start and run without tripping, while the overload protection should be sized to trip before the motor overheats. Coordination studies can be performed to determine the optimal settings for both the overcurrent and overload protection devices. These studies involve analyzing the motor's characteristics, the circuit impedance, and the time current curves of the protective devices to ensure that they operate in a coordinated manner. In some cases, it may be necessary to use a combination of different types of protective devices to achieve the desired level of protection and coordination. For example, an instantaneous trip circuit breaker may be used to provide fast-acting protection against short circuits, while an inverse time circuit breaker or fuses may be used to provide protection against overloads. The selection of the appropriate protective devices and their settings should be based on a thorough understanding of the motor's characteristics, the circuit conditions, and the applicable codes and standards. Regular inspection and testing of the motor protection system is also essential to ensure that it is functioning properly. This includes verifying the settings of the overcurrent and overload devices, testing their trip characteristics, and inspecting the conductors and connections for any signs of damage or deterioration. Any problems or discrepancies should be addressed promptly to prevent motor failures and ensure the safety of personnel and equipment. In addition to the technical aspects of motor protection, it's also important to consider the economic implications. Motor failures can result in costly downtime, lost production, and repair expenses. Investing in a properly designed and maintained motor protection system can help to minimize these costs and improve the overall reliability of the electrical system. Furthermore, energy efficiency should also be taken into account when selecting motor protection devices. Some protective devices, such as electronic overload relays, offer advanced features that can help to optimize motor performance and reduce energy consumption. These features may include adjustable trip settings, power monitoring, and communication capabilities that allow for remote monitoring and control. By considering the economic and environmental factors, you can select motor protection devices that not only protect the motor but also contribute to the overall efficiency and sustainability of the electrical system. To further illustrate the application of Article 430.52 exception number 1, let's consider a few more examples with different types of motors and protective devices. Firstly, suppose you have a 5 horsepower, 480 volts, 3-phase motor with a full load current of 7.6 amps. According to Table 430.52, the maximum allowable rating for an inverse time circuit breaker is 250% of the motor's full load current. In this case, 250% of 7.6 amps is 19 amps. Since 19 amps is not a standard size, you would round up to the next higher standard size, which is 20 amps. Therefore, you can use a 20 amp inverse time circuit breaker to protect the motor's branch circuit. Secondly, suppose you have a 10 horsepower, 208 volts, 3-phase motor with a full load current of 28 amps. According to Table 430.52, the maximum allowable rating for a time delay fuse is 175% of the motor's full load current. In this case, 175% of 28 amps is 49 amps. Since 49 amps is not a standard size, you would round up to the next higher standard size, which is 50 amps. Therefore, you can use a 50 amp time delay fuse to protect the motor's branch circuit. Thirdly, suppose you have a 25 horsepower, 460 volts, 3-phase motor with a full load current of 34 amps, and you are using an instantaneous trip circuit breaker. According to Article 430.52c3, the instantaneous trip circuit breaker shall be used only if adjustable and if part of a listed combination motor controller incorporating short circuit protection and an overload relay. The instantaneous trip setting should not exceed the values given in Table 430.52. In this instance, the instantaneous trip setting is selected to allow the motor starting current to pass without tripping, but to provide fast protection against short circuits. The overload relay, as mentioned earlier, provides thermal protection to prevent overheating due to prolonged overloads. Fourthly, consider a situation involving a hermetic refrigerant motor compressor, as these have special considerations under the NEC. Article 440 covers air conditioning and refrigeration equipment, including motor compressors. In this case, the rules for sizing the branch circuit protection may differ from those in Article 430. Table 430.52 is not directly applicable to hermetic refrigerant motor compressors. Instead, Article 440.22 generally requires that the branch circuit selection current be used to determine the conductor ampacity in the branch circuit overcurrent protection. The branch circuit overcurrent protection shall not be greater than 175% of the motor compressor rated load current or branch circuit selection current, whichever is greater, and shall not be less than 115% of the motor compressor rated load current or branch circuit selection current, whichever is greater. Fifthly, always consider any applicable exceptions or modifications that may be present in the NEC edition being used or in local amendments. Electrical codes are updated periodically, and it's important to be aware of any changes that may affect the sizing of motor branch circuit protection. Additionally, local authorities may have specific interpretations or requirements that must be followed. Therefore, staying informed about the latest code revisions and consulting with local authorities is essential for ensuring compliance and safety. In conclusion, understanding Article 430.52 Cone and Exception Number 1 is crucial for properly sizing motor branch circuit protection. Remember to always start with the calculated value from Table 430.52 and only use the next higher standard size if the calculated value does not match your standard rating. Also, consider other relevant articles and exceptions in Article 430 as well as any applicable local codes or regulations. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that motors are adequately protected from overcurrent conditions while also allowing them to start and run reliably.